Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is David and today I want to talk about why we never feel motivated when we really need to, and of course how we can change that and actually create motivation as we go along and to help us move towards our goals. In this channel I share ideas and tactics that I found useful in my own personal life, and hopefully you can also find some value in them as well. As usual, you will find timestamps along the video so you can freely skip ahead to the parts that interest you, and without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so here is our problem. Let's say you set a goal for yourself that you want to lose 20 pounds or 10 kilograms because your friend's wedding is coming up, so you want to look good, or the summer season is coming up, so you set the goal to go to the gym and change your body, or that you want to launch that side business of yours that you've been dreaming so much, or reading more books, learning a new language. Whatever your goal is, chances are if it's exciting enough, then you will feel great in the beginning. You will feel energized, you will feel motivated, you will feel like nothing can go wrong and you got this, and you will just go through the whole process and you're gonna achieve your goals. After a few days, however, things start to slow down, it gets a little bit boring, it gets a little bit harder, life comes in the way, so you get more tasks to do, you don't have enough time to do it, something gets in the way because that's just how life is. And if you're not careful, before you even know it, your process of chasing your goal is pretty much done. Or if it's not a personal project but something work related, let's say you have a project you need to finish, or a paper to hand in, or whatever it is, where there is not really an option to not do it, but you still have a deadline. In this case, you will often fall victim of procrastination and just leaving everything to the last minute, and that can result in the decrease of quality. Am I right with this? I feel like this is quite an accurate representation of what most people go through when motivation is done and all the willpower just used up at the end of the day, and you still have to get that things done. It's just not gonna happen. But there is a couple of things to note here. There is a lot of tactics that we can use to help ourselves tackle through when we don't have motivation or when we don't have enough willpower. Something can be as easy as an accountability partner, someone to hold you accountable to do your job, or we can create deadlines for ourselves to chop up the long work into smaller segments, or we can actually put our own money on the line when it comes to that. There is a great website, I think it's called Beehive, something with bees, which basically you set a task for yourself and you tell the website, you give your credit card information and you tell the website, if you're not done with this task by the deadline you set, you can set an amount, how much are they going to charge you, and you can also choose the charity to where they're going to donate the money. So that's actually quite powerful motivation factor. Or if you're not fine with that, you can just talk with a friend and tell them, hey, if I'm not done with this by the next week, here is, I don't know, 100 euros, it's yours, do whatever you want with it. And these are all aspects that we have control over. We can decide if we want to do them or if we don't, or when are we going to do them and how exactly are we going to do this. However, there is maybe one or two aspects that we don't really think we have control over, at least not that many people do. And also we don't talk about it enough, how we can get control over these things. One of these is motivation, the title of the video, and the other is willpower. So to start off, where does motivation come from? Why do we have this? Why do I feel so good sometimes, and why do I feel like dog in the other time? Some people think wrongly about motivation. Where does it come from, and how much we actually should rely on it? Now, according to Jeff Haden, the author of the Motivation Myth book, it's a great book, you should definitely read it. So according to Jeff, there is only one predictable way to gain motivation, and that is success. Motivation is something you get from yourself, automatically from feeling good about achieving some small success. Specifically, the dopamine hits we get when we observe ourselves making progress. Not talking about huge life-changing success, those come too infrequently. In general, if you want to keep making progress, keep your motivation and stay on track working towards the things you want to achieve, then what you need is a small, seemingly minor success, but on a regular basis. So when you boil it down to its essentials, success is a process. It is predictable and repeatable. It has less to do with perfect conditions and luck and more to do with diligent, continuous work. Now, don't get me wrong, there is place for luck and perfect conditions, that those factors do exist. And sometimes you just literally lucky enough to stumble on those aspects. But these are not something that you should rely on and feel like that you need them to be successful or just to even get started, because chances are you won't even know if these are the right conditions or not. But even if you do get lucky, you still need to do the right things in the right way and repeat the process over and over and over again, over. Okay, I'm not gonna record this one more time. So the way most people think about motivation, it's let's use an example. So let's say you want to go to the gym and you're not typically going to the gym most of the time, so it's a new thing, it's a new habit you're trying to build up. In the beginning you might feel excited, but then sometimes in some days you don't really want to go, so you need a big kick of motivation to get you started and, you know, get you off the couch. And the way you think about it is that I want to go to the gym, or more like I should go to the gym. I don't really want to, so I want to feel motivated. So then I will have this magical power to enjoy doing the hard things. Sometimes we can get ourselves into this motivational state, but it's a very unreliable process and it's not the right way to do so. In fact, we got it the complete other way around. We think motivation is like the little spark that automatically puts us in a state when we want to do the hard works and, you know, it's gonna last long and everything's gonna be perfect while we have motivation. But it's not the case. Motivation is the result. It is something that we get, again, automatically from ourselves, you know, by the fulfillment and the pride that we get from completing our work. So if you think about it this way, then first comes action, and then motivation, and then more action, and then more motivation, and then you keep repeating the cycle, well, basically for forever. You feel motivation because you took action. Motivation is the result, not the predictor of action. So the next time you're in the situation when you should go to the gym but you don't really want to, then instead of, you know, browsing through motivational videos and just visualizing yourself having some nice six packs or whatever you're going for, you can change your mindset and know that all you have to do is literally just show up. Showing up is half of the work already, because once you're there, once you're in the environment, once you put on your shoes, once you change your clothes, you listen to the music, you get into the mood, motivation's gonna come. And even if you don't feel motivated at that point, maybe because you're new in the gym, by the time you're halfway through your workout or you're 5 minutes in after you warm up, you will feel good about yourself. You will get the dopamine hit as soon as you do something nice for yourself or something nice for your body that you enjoy. And, you know, by the time you actually finish your workout or you're done your job, you're gonna feel a hell of a lot better. Okay, so to be fair, I don't think I told you some new big secrets that you didn't already know, at least deep down in yourself. But the truth is, even if you have zero motivation, even if you don't feel like doing anything, literally showing up is at least half of the work. They often say the hardest part of running is to get started, because you need to get over this initial obstacle, this initial resistance. And if you already, you know, in the mood, if you already put on your shoes, if you're already doing the process, it's a lot easier to just keep continuing. But if the idea was going to the gym for an hour, or if you're running for half an hour, or whatever is your goal you need motivation for, then you can try something we call 5 minutes action. Now, if you don't know 5 minutes action, it's quite a simple process. It's basically you set yourself 5 minutes, you decide on your action, what you're trying to do. Let's say you have a paper to hand in, or, you know, 5 pages to write. You set yourself 5 minutes, and then you tell yourself, okay, for 5 minutes, I'm going to do the work. That's it. If after the 5 minutes you feel like you're done, you feel like, okay, I can't do it, I just too much, then that's it. You just did 5 minutes of work. Good job. Be proud of yourself. You overcome this initial obstacle to get started. And, you know, maybe in an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, the next day, you have another 5 minutes action. If you keep repeating this process, after a while you will realize that, well, starting is actually not that hard as I thought before. And maybe, you know, continuing after the 5 minutes done is also not that hard. But oftentimes what's going to happen is that you start your 5 minutes action and you actually keep going after the 5 minutes. Maybe you're gonna stop in 20 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe in 3 hours, but you did the hardest part of the process to get started. So be proud of yourself and, you know, anticipate that feeling of motivation, that feeling of general happiness and fulfillment and pride that you get from yourself when you actually get over the barrier and you're doing what you're supposed to do. Okay, so now that we tackled the motivation part, we still have to talk about a crucial factor, and that is willpower, because these two things often go hand in hand. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about willpower here because this is not the video for it. That would take up way too much time and we are already well into the video. But just to quickly sum it up, because this is literally the core concepts of willpower and how we can, you know, save it or how we can have more of it. So here is what the book The Motivation Myth have to say about willpower. So first, eliminate as many choices as possible. Now, you may have heard this before, maybe not, but we all have a limited amount of willpower each day, and ideally we recharge it during the night, so every single morning we can start again with a full bucket of willpower. And now every single time when we have to make a choice, we use an amount of willpower corresponding of how difficult the choice is. So in the morning, if you need to decide if you're gonna wear blue jeans or black jeans, for most people it's not a difficult choice. You don't really need to think much about it. For some people it can take quite a while to decide, and can take up quite lots of willpower to keep changing and to find the right one. But that was one example. Another, if you're on a diet and you need to decide if you would want to eat a cake or a salad, that's a big decision. You need a big chunk of willpower to decide. And after a full day of work, you need to sit down and work on your side project, or you need to go to the gym. Again, another huge chunk of willpower. And if you don't have any left, chances are you're not going to go to the gym. So by eliminating as many choices as possible, we free up our willpower so we can have more willpower for the things that we actually need them to. The second one is make decisions tonight so you don't have to do them tomorrow. It's always easier to make decisions when it's not right in front of us, but it's not an immediate choice that we have to make. So if you have the possibility to make decisions a day beforehand or the evening before, the next day starts, it's gonna free up lots of willpowers. You can decide what you're gonna wear the next day, you can decide how you're gonna get to work, you can decide what are you going to work on, etc., etc., whatever makes your life easier. So the next day, when you start your day, when you're in the spot, when you have to make a decision, you're not gonna sit down and think about, okay, what should I do? Because you already done that. So you just on autopilot and you need to follow what you already told yourself you're going to do. And that's going to free a lot of willpower again. Number 3, do the hard things first. So science says you have the greatest mental energy earlier in the day. So if you have something difficult to do, some difficult tasks, some difficult choices to make, you will be able to make a lot better choices and decisions when you have more willpower, more mental clarity, more mental energy than later in the day. Now, it is unclear how does it relate to morning persons versus evening persons like night owls, but for most people, generally they know when they feel good during the day. Certainly for me, it's in the first half of the day, and weirdly, for some reason, it's between 5 and 7 p.m. I don't know why, but that's just me. Number 4, refuel often. Now, eating healthy food shouldn't come as a surprise that it's a good thing to do, and neither does eating them often, preferably every 3-4 hours. There is a lot of diets out there. I know people who have 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, and they are perfectly fine and healthy. This is just a general recommendation that works for most people. You should eat healthy, unprocessed food, and you should eat them often. Number 5, create reminders of your long-term goals. Now, the idea behind this is, once you set a goal for yourself, you can often forget it and just focus on the process that you set for yourself as well. But sometimes, life gets in the way. Sometimes things get harder and you question yourself and you're unsure if you should continue down this road, if you're doing the right thing, if you have what it takes. But this is when a reminder comes in handy about why did you started this in the first place. So when you feel unmotivated and you feel tired and you don't know if you have it, you get a reminder that this is the goal, this is why you started, this is what you want to achieve. So it can help you get over this little bump on the road. Number 6, what I think is one of the most important, besides limiting your choices, is to remove temptation altogether. Now, this is easier to do in your immediate environment than with your social environment. What I mean is that if you're working from home, like I do, and if you have your gaming PC, your console, your TV, your whatever you enjoy doing in your free time instead of working, if it's right next to you, if it's right in front of you, if there is no barrier for you to just hop over and not do the work, eventually you will do it. And by removing temptation altogether, you're not gonna have the option to do so. So this is oftentimes people go to work in a coffee shops or in a shared office or in a places where everybody just go to work together and not do anything else because you get no temptation. So you go there, you go in there to do the work. There's nothing else you can do, so you might as well just get the work done. In a similar fashion, if you're dieting and if your cupboard is stocked with candies or peanut butters or whatever is your weakness, chances are you're going to sometimes open the cupboard and sneak a candy. And if you don't have the candy there in the first place, then that's just one more thing not to worry about. Alright, so to sum it up at the end, most people think wrongly about motivation. They're wrong about where is it coming from and how much we should rely on it. Motivation is the result of our actions, not the predictor of them. First, we need to take action, then we get motivated, then we can do more action and more motivation. And essentially, if we keep repeating this, we will get our own definition of success. from which we will get even more motivation that could result to more success. And when you have absolutely zero motivation to get anything started, just remember the 5 minutes action and anticipate this natural dopamine high that you get from yourself by observing that you're making progress and you're doing the hard work. And of course, willpower. I'm not going to repeat willpower, we just talked about it. You get the idea. There you have it. This is how you can create motivation for yourself when you absolutely have none. And yes, you need to take the first steps to get motivated, but now you also know how to free up more of your willpower, so you will have enough willpower to start to do those hard things. As always, I hope you got some value out of this video. If you enjoyed it and would like to see more, please consider subscribing, leave a comment or like the video. That would really help out the channel and the algorithm so more people can see it. And as always, have a nice day and see you next time.